they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
When you're outdoors beneath Nebraska skies, adventure comes in all sizes. From quick escapes and long weekends to true off-the-grid retreats. Paddle, hike, camp, explore. Whether you have a few hours or a few days, we'll guide you to a state park or recreation area that's a perfect fit. Start your next adventure today at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through June 29th, get lumberjack pellets for $3.99 when you buy $25 in meat, and a 2-day sale this Friday and Saturday of USDA choice whole boneless ribeye for $13.99 per pound, as well as pork sausage for $1.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome into 6 p.m. in Lincoln with former Nebraska linebacker Chris Kolarevic.
Intercepted. Ball game over. Picked off by Chris Kolarevic.
This is 6 p.m. in Lincoln with Chris Kolarevic. Sponsored by the Teammates Mentoring Program. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into 6 p.m. in Lincoln. It's just me in the studio with my two producers, Jake and Brehan. Brehan's been killing it with my social media stuff. He's been clipping everything together. Right? Got to give a shout out to him. Jake's killing it with the producing in studio. Appreciate you guys. Welcome into the show. It's a beautiful day out. It's about 80 degrees out in Lincoln, Nebraska today. I drove down, been in Council Bluffs all weekend, all week actually. We had a camp today and yesterday, and then other than that, this is next week's the last week before our kids get back on campus for coaching. So excited to get everybody back on campus. So today I just got some stuff on my mind that I want to talk about. Nothing crazy. I kind of wanted to reflect on a couple things. Number one is kind of my transition out of football. I know a lot of my guys are going through that right now. I've talked to a lot of them about, the transition away from the sport, where it's something that you put your whole life into your whole life. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to find that next thing that you're passionate about, because you had this thing that you were so good at from a young age and you did your whole life and you poured your whole heart and soul into it. So it's challenging to find that next thing. And, I spent about 9-10 months away from the game completely, working in real estate, tried that on for size, been doing the radio show thing. And then end of last year, I decided, hey, I think I want to be around football. Like, I think football is where I want to be. And so I ended up deciding to coach and ended up at Iowa Western, working with the linebackers. And, this summer I've had some time to reflect on that, because we had some time off. And I can see why people struggle with the moving on from football thing, because you don't just lose your sport. You don't just lose the thing that you do every day. You lose your sense of purpose. You lose your sense of validation. You lose your sense of self in a way, where you don't have 100 teammates around you that you can talk to every day, pretty much. You don't have the thing that you can do to perform in front of people. You don't have that thing that gave you your validation your entire life. And without that, things feel somewhat empty. Things feel somewhat numb. Things feel just different. Like life is different. And moving away from that, it's hard to find something that fills that hole, because it leaves a hole in your life. It leaves a hole that, for me, to be honest with you, it couldn't be filled without football. I'm somewhat into my faith, and I've leaned on God in these times. But ultimately, my purpose in life, what I found, is football. And I think what's so amazing about being able to coach is I'm able to give back a lot of the things that I've learned. And, there's things you go through in football, like injuries, like learning about politics, learning about how to work with your teammates, work with coaches. And there's certain things you learn. And I had a lot of them I learned the hard way, and a lot of things that caused me pain. And being able to turn that around and be able to teach kids and how to navigate those things, and maybe not have them go through the things that I went through in the hard way, has been a huge blessing for me. And because of that, I think that football is the only thing that could fill that hole that football left. So I'm in the coaching thing. I felt compelled to do it. And I took a year away from it for a year. I took a year away from it just to honestly see if I could be away from football. I grew up playing it. It's all I ever wanted to do. And I took a year away from it, kind of trying to feel out what life would be like without it. And in the back of my mind the whole time, I really thought, okay, I think coaching is probably what I want to do. But the whole time I'm kind of doing the real estate thing, I'm thinking, okay, football is kind of what I want to do, but I'm going to see if I can, be without it. Why is it what I want to do? For me, again, a lot of these things I learned the hard way. And, there's just some things that I feel like I'm kind of getting off track here. I'm kind of losing my train of thought. For me, at Nebraska, we went through a lot as a team. And it's one of those things that's hard to talk about on air because I don't know. We went through a lot at Nebraska as teammates, and it left a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest. It left a bad taste in my mouth about football. It left a bad taste. Like losing leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And to be able to kind of write that, to go coach and write the next story, write the next chapter, and write it in my way, that's huge for me. So, yeah. What else have I been up to this summer?
Been going to a bunch of coaching clinics and stuff like that. Didn't you just come back from Colorado?
You got it. Yeah, my fault, y'all. I kind of lost my train of thought there. We're good. We're gonna get on a roll here. I wasn't in studio last week, so I'm kind of out the flow. But yeah, I went to South Dakota State's football camp. I went to Central Michigan's football camp. Went to Nebraska's football camp. Love what they're doing right now.
So talk about that. How
Been
was
great
all
to
three of
see.
them? What was like the difference between like South Dakota State and then what was
Good
it,
question.
Colorado?
No, it was South Dakota State, Nebraska, and Central Michigan.
And more all the differences.
So what was interesting was, South Dakota State was the biggest camp by far, actually, and there was a lot of coaches from
even bigger than Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't go to the Friday Night Lights one.
Okay.
I didn't go to the Friday Night Lights one. I went to the South Dakota
that'd be
State
impressive.
one, and then I went to the regular Nebraska one. The regular Nebraska one was a little smaller because it was kind of. I think it's because they have so many camps. Like they have 7 or 8, whereas like South Dakota State and Central Michigan, they only had 2 each.
Sure.
So I think there was a lot more kids, and I actually found a lot of good recruits up there. But yeah, it's interesting to be able to see from the other side of the ball or the other side of the coin, the recruiting thing, because growing up getting recruited, I just kind of didn't know what I was doing. I kind of didn't know how to navigate it, and it felt like kind of a fish out of water. Like I'm here, but I want to get recruited and I feel like I'm good enough, but it's hard to know how to navigate it. And then looking at it from the other side, it's like, oh, okay, this is like, I know which kids can play, and I know how these kids need to market themselves. So it's really cool for me to see from the other side of the coin, what the coaching side of it looks like. Cause it was always, it felt like an uphill battle for me as a player to try and get recruited, and to see now a lot of things make more sense, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, with like what's like so like now that you're like completely on the other side of the coin, what do you feel like is like the biggest difference from being the one being recruited to doing the recruiting?
I mean, it's just the opposite side of the coin, but
like what are you looking for? Like what's like when you say I know how they should market themselves,
right?
What does that mean?
You really just have to show up. And first of all, you got to be the guy. You got to have it physically, but then you have to show up with a certain like bravado to you that gets you noticed. Because there's so many kids at these camps. There's 200, 300, 400 kids at these camps. You have to be like somebody that stands out, and you have to know how to stand out. You have to know how to make a play here. You have to know how to talk your talk a little bit. Kind of have to know how to stand out at these camps. And it's kind of fun to find the guys that can play. It's kind of fun to go talk to them. So that's been interesting. I wrote down some notes that I wanted to talk about, but so my experience so far at Iowa Western.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about this on the show before, but to be honest with you, my experience at Iowa Western has kind of brought back my love for the game. Because like I mentioned before, that time at Nebraska was so challenging, where you go through all these losses, and it kind of made me lose that love for the game that I had. But Iowa Western, it's a very, very good program, and there's some very great humans around me.
It's a top dog program, not a very good program. It is a top dog program.
Exactly.
Didn't you get ranked number 3 in some polls and number 1 in some others?
Yeah, exactly. And there's some great coaches around me, like Aaron Terry, the D-line coach. He's been there 8 years. He ran a football camp today. He killed it. Did a great job. He's put so many guys in. Like there was a guy from the NFL that was there at the camp.
Perrion, right?
Perrion, yeah. Yeah, so he's killed it there. He's put guys in the NFL.
For you guys don't know, he used to play at Iowa Western, and he transferred to the University of Oklahoma.
There it is. Mike Blackburn's been there 16 years, been the DC, had a bunch of top defenses. Scott Strohmeyer's been there the same amount of time, 16 years, won 4 national championships. I think been to 8. So they've just been on an incredible run there, and just to be around a program that has a great culture has just made me fall back in love with the game, and it's been amazing to be around.
It's hard not to, you know what I mean? Like it's like you go to a JUCO that's just a powerhouse. It's because it's like winning just like brings that taste from sour to sweet, you know?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like it's such a better feeling, you know? And especially for a guy that went through like a lot of loss, like you went from a program that wasn't as dominant as Nebraska in your former college, and then you come to Nebraska and you have a little bit of a hiccup, and then you get back into football and you're at a powerhouse. How's it like? How's that? What's like the big factor for you being reinvigorated?
It feels so pure to me. It feels like, okay, so
What's the pure part?
for me, why Nebraska was so challenging was number one, we lost a lot of games.
Yeah.
Number two, it was my first time being introduced to the political side of the game, where the game just isn't as pure. It's not as competition based. So it reintroduced me to the love of the game for the sake of the game, just for the sake of the game itself and the game of football. That's what it made me fall in love with it again, and I'm very grateful for it, because when you fall out of love with it, it's like it's hard to go back, because it kept me up at night. It made me lose sleep, caused me a lot of pain, and I know it did a lot of the guys around us. So, yeah, just being able to go back and be around it again and be in love with it again and really love what I'm doing and have some great kids that I'm coaching. It's been really awesome. But yeah, we are ranked. We got a pretty decent ranking.
You got a squad.
We got a pretty decent ranking.
And it's pretty nice.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
That's the best.
Yeah, first game is Georgia Military.
Yeah.
I think they're ranked too.
It don't matter.
So that'll be a big game. But yeah, the JUCO football thing is amazing. I remember watching Last Chance U.
Oh, yeah.
And
how much of that is true?
I think 99.9%. I mean, it's reality TV. Everything in reality TV is true. Like everything in reality TV is true. Yeah, everything.
Yeah. It's like Love Island, but in the Boondocks.
Hey, have you been watching that? I've been hearing a lot about Love Island.
I have been watching a lot of Love Island.
Okay.
You've been watching a lot about Love Island?
I've seen it before. I have not.
By the way, I think there's two things that I think are worth talking about outside of sports right now. Number one, Love Island.
Yes.
I haven't watched it and I don't really plan to, but I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it. Like I've seen a lot of stories about it. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. Number two, this man Morgan Wallen is on a generational run right now.
He is.
He might be the Michael Jackson of this generation. People are saying he might be the Michael Jackson of this generation.
I feel like that's like Taylor Swift.
It could be.
It definitely is.
But all I'm saying is he's on a generational run right now.
I would agree with that.
He's putting out music and he's got like 8 of the top 10 songs right now. I mean, this man he's walking out to stadiums with Tom Brady
walkouts
and Mike Tyson and
Peyton
Drake
Manning.
And Peyton Manning. He's on a run right now that's for the books. That's all I'm saying. And I really like his music. So those were the two like pop culture things that I really felt like were worth mentioning, because I've been seeing a lot about Love Island and I've been seeing Morgan Wallen all over the place.
Love Island, I don't think I've watched one episode of this season, but I get an update every time I open like TikTok. Like my whole feed is either talking about Huda, or I see a Morgan Wallen thing, or I see something about football.
Yeah.
There's nothing between those like 3 things.
Yeah.
Which might be a really messed up feed, but
man, it's 6:13 in studio. But yeah, I'm just thankful for the game of football today. I'm thankful for the game of football because it gives me purpose, it gives me direction, and it gives me something to pour all this energy I've got into. And that was, I think, what I struggled with the most when I was away from the game, was I have all this energy and the spirit inside of me, and I just didn't have anywhere to pour it into. And now that there's the game and there's all the players on the team and there's game planning and everything like that, I have something to pour my energy into, which is a huge blessing. And being able to find something that you're passionate about and you want to do every day and you wake up passionate about every day, that kind of gets you out of bed in the morning and makes you want to wake up with a lot of energy every day is huge.
Do your kids think you're old?
I don't think so. How old do I look? I
would say like 25, 26.
You say I look 25, 26?
Yeah, not old.
I don't think I look old, but I do think you can kind of relate to them. Like, because they're just growing up in a different generation. Like, they're growing up in a generation that is way different than.
I was gonna say, like, what is that like? What is like, as you're watching, like, you're obviously not old, and you're like a year older than me, but like, what, like when you're watching these kids like go through all these like, the struggle of being a college football player, what is like the biggest difference you see from when you were playing to now that they're playing and you're coaching?
The biggest difference is things are very uncertain. The landscape of everything is very uncertain. Not only that, but they constantly have on their phone
the world
at their fingertips. And to me, that comes with a lot of anxiety. It comes with a lot of stress where it's like you feel like you're always not doing good enough.
I feel like it's like a lot of pressure, a lot of comparison.
Yeah, it's like a pressure, and you always feel like you're not doing enough. You always feel like you're not doing well enough when you have this social media right at your fingertips.
Mm.
And that's something I just think that the older generation, and even me to a degree, can't even understand because it's so right there.
Mm.
And it's been right there since they were little kids. So it's just a little bit different. And that's uncertain. And at the same time, wow, that's a nice car. Look at that car, that big orange car. Looks like a transformer.
Transformer.
But yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty in the college football landscape in general right now. Overall, there's a lot of uncertainty.
Let's just add that transfer portal, man.
Yeah,
And
the
then
transfer portal and NIL, there's a lot of uncertainty, but with uncertainty comes opportunity. Like with uncertainty comes opportunity. And with the portal and with NIL, there's an ability to leverage it and make a lot of money for you and your family. There's an ability to leverage the transfer portal.
Yeah, Nico Imanella.
And use it how you want to use
me
it.
for the butchering of that name. But yeah, the guy from Tennessee, he just tried to get Tennessee to pay him. You remember what it was? It was like 10.
Yeah, he wanted a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot of money for someone that's not even 20 years old yet. It's like kind of like it's that and it kind of borderlines on the like the entitlement kind of part of things. You know what I mean?
Hey Jake, any chance? So I'm looking at the camera right now. Can you do that camera on both of us? Is that possible?
I could, yeah.
So I was just looking at the mic was right in front of my face, so we can get a little better view here.
A little pause in the action.
Yeah, a little pause in the action. All right, we're back.
I was gonna say it kind of borderlines on entitlement because I don't know if you've been paying at all any attention. This goes for both of y'all. I don't know if you've been paying any attention to the NBA draft. Have you heard of Ace Bailey?
No, I haven't.
Ace Bailey was a guard for Rutgers. You know who Ace Bailey is?
Yeah.
That dude's a bucket. He's a bucket. Yeah. He played with Dylan Harper at Rutgers. He just got drafted like 5th overall. He was supposed to go top 3. You know why he didn't go top 3?
No.
Because he refused to do any workouts with teams that were drafting outside the top 10.
Wow.
Anybody, especially the Utah Jazz.
Okay.
He did not want to work out with the Utah Jazz. He didn't want to do interviews with the Utah Jazz. He had no idea that they were even interested in.
Wow.
He ended up going 5th overall to the Utah Jazz.
Wow.
It blows my mind. It's like a lot of these kids, like you think that they're like they would just be so excited just to get a shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like these people that get drafted in the top 10, top 20 are not going to the G League.
Yeah.
They're going straight to the show. They're going to the league.
Yeah.
And his first reaction is like nothing. So like that kind of like I feel like it ties back into football a little bit because it makes you feel like a little ungrateful for what you're getting. That's why it's kind of hard, you know?
Definitely. But yeah, so this summer's been awesome. It's been great to honestly have some time away to reflect on kind of that transition and really find my purpose. And I'm really blessed to say that I really feel like I found my purpose in life and what I want to do, which is something that gets me up in the morning, that keeps me energized, that keeps me wanting to chase the next thing. And that's been a huge blessing to me. And I'm really excited about the season coming up. So the next thing I had on my list was, I never talked about this on the show, but I want to talk about where the show name came from. I want to talk about where the idea came from.
Drake song.
It's a Drake song. So when I was brainstorming names for the show, I was thinking of a lot of ideas, but then I was listening to this song when I was brainstorming names, and I was like, oh, that would make a lot of sense. And I was in a position where it was late last year, when I was kind of in the middle of figuring out what I wanted to do, kind of uncertain about what my next few years of life would look like and where I wanted to take it. And he said a line in there. He said, last night I went to sleep wanting more, trying to decide which direction I should go toward. And I remember him on the song, he's just freestyling for like 4 minutes. And that was kind of the vision I saw for the show was, all right, I'm gonna name it 6 p.m. in Lincoln instead of 6 p.m. in New York like he has it. And I'm just gonna go on there and kind of speak my mind. And I'm gonna have people on there to speak their mind. And kind of as I go and as I do the show, use it to kind of figure out what I want to do.
So it's not a 4-minute freestyle, it's actually an hour freestyle.
Right. It's an hour freestyle where I can just speak my mind and kind of use it to combine with whatever I'm doing and kind of use it to forward that purpose that I have, which is football. So being able to have on other coaches, being able to have on other former teammates, people that really provide a lot of value to the show.
A lot of perspectives.
Yeah, I've been able to have a lot of great perspectives on the show, and it kind of keeps things flowing. Because at times, like you saw earlier in the show, like I'll stumble on my words every once in a while and maybe not have anything to say. Even though I did, to be honest with you, today I did have a lot to say. I just sometimes your mind just goes blank.
Just wanders.
Like your mind just wanders, and sometimes you just got to rein it back in. Sometimes you need Brehend to rein it back in. Like my mind will just wander sometimes. So, because here's the thing, like I can really talk for a while. Like I can talk all day if I want to, and that's why I like doing the show, because it just lets my mind. I can just talk. And I hope people like listening. It seems like people have so far.
No complaints.
But yeah, life's a blessing. And at times things can seem hard, but life's such a blessing every day that we get up and have an opportunity to go chase what we want to chase. It's amazing. And there's so many times when you feel like you're going to go bust. You feel like things aren't going to work out. And then you roll the 6 you need. It's crazy how things just work out when they need to work out. And so many times over the last couple of years, especially since football was really uncertain and Nebraska happened, life's felt like off the rails. Like things have just not been working.
Life is sometimes boils down to like a game of patience. I'm no good at patience, but
I'm probably the worst at patience. Patience is so hard.
It's so
and it's even harder, like we were talking about with the social media thing, where right at your fingertips you have people that are doing better than you, supposedly.
At your age.
And you just see people every day. As soon as you wake up, you're on your phone, you're seeing people that are supposedly doing better than you. And it makes it really hard to have patience, and it makes it really hard to put time in and trust the process of what you're doing and lay the foundation of what you want to do in the future.
Yeah.
It's like, because when you're starting out on a venture, when you're starting something, there's going to be that period of time where you have to get momentum, where you have to get the momentum started, and getting the momentum started is the hardest part, because you don't have a ton of people cheering for you. You don't have a ton of people clapping for you, and you might not see success for years. There's a lot of people that'll start businesses or when they start playing football, well, they won't see much success for a couple of years before they start gaining any of that momentum. So those first couple of years are the hardest part. And it makes it even harder that you have to see people that are already successful on social media, and they're just posting the highlight reels, and they're not posting the real, what it took to really get started. And what it takes to get started at anything is really hard. And I'm even finding that with the show right now. Like I'm posting clips and I'll get like 1,000 views on a lot of them, 1,500 on some of them, and then I'll get 100 on another one. And I'll get, 20 likes, 30 likes on some, 5 likes on others. And it's like, you see a lot of people posting clips and videos, and they're getting 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. And you want it to get there now.
Yeah.
But that's not the reality. The reality is you have to play around with it. You have to do things a little differently here and there. You have to lay the foundation and kind of get that momentum going. The momentum's the hardest part.
Yeah.
So I would just encourage all kids who do have that social media access 24/7, just have patience. Just keep putting in energy and putting in effort into what you're doing every day, and that momentum will grow. It'll snowball, and things will get going eventually.
Just use it to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Best of your knowledge.
Exactly.
Everyone's still learning.
Exactly. Ready to take a break?
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you guys soon.
When you're outdoors beneath Nebraska skies, adventure comes in all sizes. From quick escapes and long weekends to true off-the-grid retreats. Paddle, hike, camp, explore. Whether you have a few hours or a few days, we'll guide you to a state park or recreation area that's a perfect fit. Start your next adventure today at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through June 29th, get lumberjack pellets for $3.99 when you buy $25 in meat, and a 2-day sale this Friday and Saturday of USDA choice whole boneless ribeye for $13.99 per pound, as well as pork sausage for $1.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market, the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
In today's digital world, technology works great until it doesn't. At Hamilton, we work to keep your business up and running. We are more than an IT company. We're your partner, focused on customized solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Say goodbye to tech stress and unexpected IT costs when you hire Hamilton. Together, we help you focus on what really matters. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at gainatrucking.com.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to 6 p.m. in Lincoln with Chris Kolarevic. Sponsored by the Teammates Mentoring Program on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, and we're back. So we've been doing this radio thing for what, about 8 months now? Been doing it every week for about 8 months. We were just talking about, I had a little moment at the beginning of the show where I just kind of choked. Spitballed and lost my train of thought. And I was thinking back, like, I used to do that a lot more when I was first starting the show. Like, I would just kind of lose my train of thought and not know what to talk about. And I think I caught myself a lot quicker this time. But sometimes it just takes a little bit to get into the flow of the show. Like, it takes a little bit to just get the words going and just kind of get the flow going. So, yeah, it's kind of like I kind of compared it to my favorite movie growing up was 8 Mile with Eminem in it. And, you know, he's for anybody that hasn't seen the movie, he's a rapper in underground Detroit, and he's trying to come up, and he's doing all these rap battles. And at the beginning of the movie, he just completely chokes. Like, he can't even speak when he gets on stage. Like, he's in a rap battle and like can't even get the words out. And then by the end of the movie, like, he goes through all these events that happen to him that are traumatizing him, whatever. And he gets to the end of the movie and he's practicing, he's writing, and he gets to the last rap battle. And the last rap battle is with his bully, like his guy that's been bullying him. And he gets the mic first and he gets to go first. And he basically just steps up there and owns everything. Like, he goes, I'll say everything that you're going to say against me. And he just goes out and says it and kind of takes the words out of this dude's mouth. And as I get older and as I kind of figure out how life works, that's kind of what I'm learning, is that if you can just own everything about yourself and really wear it on your sleeve, own all the things that you've messed up, because everybody messes stuff up, own the things that are problems, own your own problems, so that you don't have to have somebody else say it for you so that you can own it and not have this person or that person have to say it for you. And I took that from that. And that memory popped up when I stumbled on my words earlier in the show, that I was like, okay, maybe it's like a little Eminem from 8 Mile moment where you just lose the words that you got in your mouth. Cause I honestly came on the show with a lot of stuff to say. Like I had a bunch of stuff written down that I wanted to talk about. Like I wanted to come on and talk about, like, I'm going to come on and talk about like reflecting on football, reflecting on transitioning to coaching. Like I want to talk about my summer. I want to talk about Traverse City and how I've been home a bunch of times. How I've seen a bunch of people. I wanted to come on and talk about everything. And I just came on and completely stumbled on my words. And so, yeah, I appreciate everybody that stayed tuned in. It's been a blessing to have you. And yeah, let's get on with the show. That's enough of that. So another thing I wanted to talk about while I was on was NIL, because I'm seeing a lot of interesting things happening with NIL. I mean, players are just getting absurd amount of money, first of all. But second of all, I had this dream. I had this vision of what I think is going to happen here soon in the next decade with NIL. And I'm just thinking about, like, if I was a coach at an FCS school, say, or even a JUCO like I'm at now, but if I'm at an FCS school,
yeah,
it wouldn't be a bad recruiting strategy to call a player and say, hey, like, say you got a 4-star recruit. Say, hey, buddy, I know you got Georgia and you got Nebraska and you got Alabama, but look, if you come to South Dakota for a year, say the kid's not getting much NIL money, like he's a 3-star or a 4-star recruit that's not getting as much money out of high school. Say you call him and you say, hey, come here for a year. You're gonna obviously start right away. You're gonna be one of our guys, and you play here for a year. Because I'm seeing transfers from those FCS schools getting crazy money, like way more than high school kids. So what I see happening, and I had a dream about this, was coaches literally recruiting and telling kids, hey, come here and we'll get you paid after your first year. And I don't see it happening with the whole team. Like, obviously you'd still have to have your 4-year guys, like your starters that are there 4 years. And you need to have like your captains, like your 4-year guys that are really the root and heart of the soul of the team.
Mm-hmm.
But you could really, as a smaller school, and somebody's going to do this, watch, like over the next 5-10 years, somebody's going to start doing this and really start marketing their program.
Like a 1 year, do it and prove it.
Right. Like somebody's going to start marketing their program as, hey, you get 4 stars, we get 3 stars, and then they move on after a year and get these absurd amounts of money. Like these kids are getting over $1 million, like millions. Like the North Dakota State running back goes to Miami, 3. I think he got 3 million. I might be wrong about that.
Even bigger towns like Carson Beck going from Georgia to Miami, I think he got 5 million from Miami.
It's nuts. So I see it. I can see that happening, and I notice even guys go in the portal just for the sake of going in the portal. Like, they are in a great situation. They're getting paid decent money at the school they're at, but they know they can get more. Number one, they can get more money. Number two, they can get more attention. They can get more social media followers if they go to a new school. So this portal thing is kind of limitless. How I see it changing coaching is, as backwards as it sounds, relationships are becoming even more important. I think in the past, coaches were a lot harder on kids. They were a lot more kind of tough love on kids, and scheme mattered a lot more. Like, you had 4 years basically to raise a kid. You had 4 years to raise a kid, implement your scheme, do what you do, and kind of mold him how you want to mold him. You just don't have that time anymore. No. So your ability, like, to develop quick relationships is becoming more and more important.
So how would you, like, as a coach, how would you develop trust over, like, it's not even a year, it's like a 4-month, 5-month relationship?
Full transparency. Everything has to be transparent. There can't be lies. like kids nowadays are so much better at sniffing out lies and sniffing out things that aren't quite true. And things have to be so transparent nowadays. You have to be so upfront about, number one, what your plan is for them. Number two, if there's any problems or things that they're doing wrong, you have to be so transparent. And for me, I think that trust is developed through, number one, transparency, and number two, going through something together, like going through a season together, or going through a hard time together, or going through hard workouts together, or spending time together, where you get to see somebody's character and you get to see how they really act in stressful situations.
Yeah.
And that's where trust is developed. And that's going to be the biggest thing in the country right now, is building that trust with players. Because kids can just up and leave. And there's really nothing you can do about it. And it's going to get even harder to maintain those relationships with the guys that can do it, or they're going to be the ones that get successful, because the reality is you don't have 4 years to implement your scheme anymore. You don't have the time to make your whole style about your scheme. Like, you just don't have the luxury of doing that. And even, like, I don't want to say film study is not important, because film study is absolutely important. Like, it's crucial, but it's just not as important as it was in the past.
Yeah.
It's just not. Like, there's not as much scheming going on. There is, obviously. I'm not saying that people don't scheme up defenses and defenses don't scheme up offenses, but it's becoming much more about the players. It's becoming much more player-centered and player-focused, because you do have these kids that come in for 1 year and leave, and you just can't have very complicated schemes anymore. It's just not. It's just the reality.
It's hard.
And then the turnover is so high.
I was gonna say the turnover is hard in the
first 3 games of the season, you don't have a scouting report as much, because in the past it would be most of the team would be returned. So then your first 2 or 3 games, the teams could scout your last year's film and know who they're going to play, know what type of stuff they're going to get. But that's just not the reality anymore. Like,
different team, different players.
Completely different team, completely different players. The coaching turnover is getting even more. Dudes are moving all over the country. So they're probably running a different scheme at the school. They're probably got different players at almost every school. So you just can't scheme as much, and it's much more player focused. How can you get the players to be the absolute best version of themselves? Get the players to commit. Get the players to lean into their
buy-in, and just
get the players to lean in hard, and get the players to play hard. And
just honesty, what you said earlier,
right? And get your best players to play well and work hard. That's what it's becoming about. It's becoming much more player focused and much less hard, like being really hard on players and really playbooks focused like it's been in the past. And I see a lot of people, like, let's be honest, like, you see a lot of people complaining about that. You see a lot of people that have a problem with that and say, you know how the older generation is. And I'm sure I'll be like this when I'm old and there's changes happening. But like, the older generation is going to fight it, and they're going to say, hey, we should be doing it this way. We should be doing it that way. But I've kind of always taken the approach of, okay, reality is what it is. Things are how they are. How are you going to adapt? What do you have to do? What do you have to do in 2025 to be successful? That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm not going to hold on to something that's already gone. I'm not going to hold on to old ways. And you have to adapt to circumstances. And that's just how the game is right now.
That's how it's going to be.
It's how it's going to be.
I'm going to say it's not going to be.
It's not changing anytime soon. Things are how they are. Things aren't changing. And in all honesty, it's probably just going to get more and more exaggerated.
I was going to say it's going to keep going and growing.
It's going to get even deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's going to keep growing and growing. And the sport has never been bigger.
Nope.
That's where I struggle with understanding why people are complaining about it so much. Because yes, like, it's still different, but the sport in general has never been bigger. It's never been more eyes on it. It's never been more popular than it is now.
Football used to be like, I don't know how to describe it, but football is like sacred to a lot of people, and football is so like strict. Yeah, like, it's just one of those sports where like creativity is limited, and outside of the box thinking is not really.
But that's changing.
That's changing. But like, people from the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, they didn't have that.
It is absolutely changing. There's a new guard coming, and I have to give a shout out to some guys that I really look up to and respect in the business right now. Brennan Marion over at Sac State is changing the game. He runs this go-go offense, 2 running backs in the backfield on the right side of the quarterback or the left side, both on one side of the quarterback.
UNLV runs that offense.
He was the OC last year.
Makes sense. I was going to say that offense
exactly.
Is beautiful.
Exactly.
I love it.
So he went to Sac State. He's bringing Sac State up from an FCS program to an FBS program. And I've seen a bunch of his interviews, and I've seen him speaking on these things. They're the #1 transfer portal class in the country. Like, I'm talking above Alabama, above everybody. And they're an FCS school. He's coming in and changing the game because he's making it about relationships, and he's leaning in hard to what's going on. He's not fighting it. And he's the first coach to fully, I think, lean into the new way of doing things. And I really, it's really inspiring to see. I really look up to him, and I've been kind of following a lot of stuff he's doing. And the other one is Fran Brown at Syracuse. Those two are really doing it different. And they both went on. There's a guy that's kind of getting bigger right now named Adam Brenneman. He's a podcast guy. He was a big recruit at Penn State, blew his knee out, so he couldn't play.
The tight end, right?
Yeah, tight end. So he made a podcast, and he's been having these kind of guys on. And I watched both of those shows that he did, and I really, really was inspired by the way that they're approaching the game. Because again, it's like how they're approaching relationships with players, how they're approaching the X's and O's of things, and it's so much different than it's been. But I'm telling you, watch those 2 schools this year. They're going to have a lot of success, and I'm excited to see them.
A lot of traction.
They're going to have a lot of success.
Especially that go-go offense, man. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It is lethal.
Exactly.
It's nasty.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the go-go offense, I mean, it's just getting players in space. Like that's all it is. It's not complicated scheme-wise. It's literally just, okay, how can we get our best athletes the ball in space and let them make plays? That's all it is. And that's what it's going to is how can we put our best athletes that are our hardest workers in a position to make plays and succeed? And that's where the game's going. It's not this like,
and that's what you want to play for.
That's what you want to play for, and the kids want to play for him. Yeah, exactly.
Can't blame him. Why would you want to play for a guy that's like scheming for specific, like literally specific people and specific options,
right?
To get the ball.
And you talk about, it's funny you talk about with those guys. It's funny you talk about in the past things were very traditional. There was not a lot of room for creativity. And one thing that Brennan Marion talks about a lot is, I mean, he's got a tattoo on his neck of a star, and he's like, why can't a guy with tattoos be a head coach of a college football team? And I think that's just signaling to me the change that's coming. The fact that there's going to be a lot more creativity and there's going to be a lot more people doing it their own way instead of it just being very limited in how you can act and be. And things are changing. And that's just the way it is now. And a lot of it is the ability to market. And I want to talk about this more in the next segment because we probably got to wrap this one up soon.
Yeah, pretty soon.
All right, let me finish up. The ability to market your team like these guys are doing, where you can go on podcasts, where you can go on shows, when you can talk your team up and get people to get eyes on you. Because reality is we're in an attention economy that the economy is more based on attention than it is money nowadays. And if you're somebody that can get attention on the school and get people to watch, you'll be able to get more recruits. You'll be able to get more money. You'll be able to get more everything because you're able to put on a show like Deion did at Colorado. He changed the game. Why? Because he was able to get attention. And that's what changed the game. But yeah, let's pick up there at the next segment. We'll be right back soon.
Need service on your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly, NATE certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new great trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Falls City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
If you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, well, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Need service on your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952, Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly, NATE-certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Back to 6 p.m. in Lincoln with Chris Kolarevic, sponsored by the Teammates Mentoring Program on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back. We need to address this right away. We got a question in the YouTube comments. What do I think of Dana Holgerson's offense? I think there's a really good reason Matt Rule hired him. I think it really fits what Dylan Raiola does, and I think it really fits his style of play. Where what I saw last year was, okay, we're gonna run the ball a lot. We're gonna have a great running back. We got Emmett Johnson. Number two, we're gonna dink and dunk all over the field. We're gonna throw screen passes. We're gonna throw slants. We're gonna throw quick passes. And then when the defense goes to sleep, we're gonna bomb one over their heads. And that's what I see out of Dana Holgerson's offense. It's an interesting one, and I say this hesitantly because I don't like to get Husker fans riled up. And honestly, I don't talk about Husker football a ton because I think there's plenty of people that do that. But definitely want to address it while we're on here. I do think that they're headed in the right direction. I like what they're doing. I do. So I appreciate the question. Thanks for tuning in. Jake, do you think that, so I tend to sometimes veer off topic and I talk about kind of my stuff I got going on. I talk about Iowa Western, talk about kind of my opinions on life, and I have guests on and tend to not talk about Nebraska football much. Do you think that bothers people?
I don't think it bothers people, no. But, okay. Obviously, as a former Husker, when you say something, people listen.
Fair.
I've been telling you that.
Fair enough.
You played inside a lot of people's childhood dreams.
Yeah. My childhood dream, to be honest with you, was the University of Michigan.
We knew this. Mm-hmm. Michigan kid. Where else?
Michigan kid.
You didn't dream of being a Spartan. I know you dreamed of being a Wolverine.
I grew up wanted to be a Wolverine, and they offered me a preferred walk-on out of high school, and I felt a twinge of disrespect. And so I went to Northern Iowa. Mm-hmm. And then when I went in the portal, they tried to get me. And Nebraska showed me some love, and I said, I'm going to go to Nebraska.
Mm-hmm. What's the difference there? What they do? What did Nebraska do that Michigan didn't do?
In what way?
You said showed you some love.
Ricky Simmons. It wasn't anything they did or didn't do. It was more like personally, I felt like Michigan didn't want me out of high school. So I was like, I want to go somewhere where I can go beat them.
A little bit of a vendetta.
Now, Michigan did have a couple pretty good years when we played against them when I was there. So I didn't really get my lick back like I thought I would.
Right.
But
there was oh my goodness. I remember watching Michigan versus Ohio State for like the longest. And I remember Michigan would lose year after year after year, where I thought it shouldn't even be a rivalry anymore. I can't remember. I think the last time Ohio State beat Michigan was 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while now.
It's been a while. Ryan Day's never beat Michigan.
Yeah, I think it's 3 of the last 4.
I don't think Ryan Day's ever beat Michigan though. Not off the top of my dome. Pac, can you verify that so I'm not just talking crazy?
I think he's won one time, bro.
Has he?
I think he's won
I
one
don't
time.
think he has.
Yeah, Jake, we need some verification.
We need
on that because I do
verification.
think he's won once.
We need
because I do think he's won once.
He's 1-4 overall.
Okay. That's still rough.
See, I got ball knowledge.
You do got ball knowledge.
I got ball knowledge.
Which is rough for an Ohio State coach.
That is rough.
Especially
Like they were
Michigan.
talking about firing him before he won the Natty.
That's it.
They were talking about getting rid of him.
They were talking about full on. Oh, they were talking about full on.
They were. We got Ricky Simmons out here. He's on next. He's not on next, is he? He's on the one after me.
Yeah, he's at 8.
Great show. You should check Ricky's show out. By the way, this is horrible radio right now, but I'm just gonna say it because I need to remember. Ricky is gonna come talk to our kids at Iowa Western, and I need to set that up.
Oh, nice.
Mental note. How's his show been going?
Oh, it's really good.
I've heard great things about it, and I watched a few episodes. I think it's awesome.
Oh yeah, he's very good with his guests as well.
Yeah, he does a great job with it.
I did want to ask you though, because it is interesting that you brought it up, because I think we think this, and I don't want to bring this in a down way, but I know some people don't like Trev Alberts, but when you kind of think of how could Trev Alberts turn on Nebraska or something like that, and I always kind of thought what you were saying here with Michigan is sometimes your dream as a kid isn't the same as when you're in the office, and sometimes your love for the winged helmet might not match who the current head coach is, and so it's just kind of interesting that you kind of think of one thing when you're growing up, when you kind of get there or get in a position, sometimes the personnel just doesn't work with you.
That's a very good question. First of all, I have to say personally, I have a lot of love for Trev Alberts for a couple of reasons. Number one, he grew up in Cedar Falls, Iowa, where Northern Iowa was at, so we kind of bonded over that when I got here. And he also helped me find that job in real estate when I was done. So I have a lot of personal appreciation and love for Trev Alberts, and he's a great AD. He did a great job when he was here, and he did what was best for him by leaving, and I don't have a problem with that. I will say, like I mentioned earlier in the show, and when I was stumbling on my words because it's hard to talk about, dude, losing takes its toll on you mentally. And I don't want to say he was tired of losing, but just in a lot of ways, the weight of it can get to you. And I think I have no idea why he left. I haven't talked to him about it. I have no real insight into that. But I do know the effect from personal experience, what losing when you feel like a lot of weight is on your shoulders at a big school, what that does to you mentally. And it's very challenging.
Especially if you're like a guy like Trev Alberts. Like you were dominant here in the 90s, and then you come back and you guys were struggling to win like 4 games a year.
Exactly.
And you're the spearhead of
very
that.
challenging mentally in more ways than 5. Like it weighs on you when you go to sleep. It weighs on you when you wake up. It never stops. You got people asking you about it all the time. And when you're the figure of the head of it, it weighs on you. And so I don't know what was going through his head when he left. I have zero insight into that whatsoever. I know he did what was best for him, and I have a lot of appreciation for that man. But yeah, losing weighs on you. That's how I would answer that question, because it weighed on me, and taking all those losses in a row weighed on me so much that I lost a lot of love for the game of football that I love the most in the world. And it's taken me a couple years removed from that, and now at a great program, to find that love again. And it took me a long time to find that love again. So I completely understand anybody that loses love for the sport when you lose games like that, because it's very challenging mentally. The weight of it can feel really heavy. Did that answer that question?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So it's kind of a 2-part question. The other part is kind of like your childhood expected, because it's interesting to hear to say, like, I wanted to play at Michigan, and you got the opportunity not once but twice, and this time turned them down. But again, it was just, maybe it wasn't all that your dream kind of factored in. And you kind of look at Joe Burrow the same type of way. His dream was to win a national championship in Nebraska. He ended up winning a national championship, but it was at LSU. And so sometimes, again, I think it's just the personality or the personalities that are involved when your dream is to get to Michigan, and then, like you said, you didn't get the love from Michigan, whatever it was, it didn't feel like your dream.
Yeah. First time around in high school, I wanted to pay for my own school. Like, I wanted the freedom that came with paying for my own school. It was just my personal, what I wanted. I didn't want to have to rely on my parents or loans or anything for money, because I just wanted the freedom of not having to worry about that. So that was why I didn't go there, because I had that preferred walk on, and they wanted me to walk on, but I wanted to be able to pay for my own school, and that mattered a lot to me. for a couple of reasons. One, like the freedom I told you. And number two, I wanted to go somewhere where the coaches really believed in me. The coaches saw me as a guy that was going to start for them quickly rather than a walk-on guy that has to really like earn his keep. Not that I didn't want to earn it, but it's just different when you have coaches that really get behind you, because I knew I had a lot of developing to do in high school. I went to a really small high school and I didn't play much linebacker. So I knew I had a lot of developing to do, and I needed coaches that were going to be willing to put in the time with me, that were going to be willing to put in the energy with me. And I knew that a smaller school that was paying for my school was going to be able to put in more time to my development. And that's why I picked a smaller school in high school. Coming out of Northern Iowa to Nebraska in the portal, I went in the portal a month after it opened. Like, it was weird. I didn't post the offer on Twitter. Like, it was quiet. Like, it was very weird. There was a little bit of side eyes at me when I went in because it was just so new and nobody knew what was going on. So I went in the portal, and Nebraska called me like the day after I went in the portal, like the next day, and offered me right away. And they said, "We love your film. We want you to come here." And I felt, again, I like going places where I feel like I'm wanted and appreciated, because I know that I'm probably going to get a better opportunity. And Michigan was a little bit slower. Like, they had called me, but they were a little slower. And so I decided to go to Nebraska because of that. And I felt like they should have offered me this. But yeah, I'm hearing the music. I think that's the end of the show. This was a good one. Thanks for everybody that tuned in past the first 4 minutes, because I think we really got rolling after the first 4 minutes. That was a good show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39